Where is it? Mike? Where? Get out of my way.
Hold on, okay? Mr. White's got an idea.
Count to 3.
Mike, I'm
1,
serious. It's a great
2.
idea. Just hear him out.
Is that true, Walter? Everybody wins.
So, the rumor's out. Bryan Cranston, the man who turned Walter White into one of television's most terrifying and brilliant monsters, might be joining Dexter, Resurrection. And not as a cameo or a throwaway Easter egg, but as Dexter's most disturbing enemy yet. If that's true, it changes everything. Because this wouldn't just be another season. It would be television history repeating itself. 2 of the greatest anti-heroes ever created, finally colliding in the same universe of moral decay. Let's be honest. After Dexter, Resurrection ended, fans were left wondering, how do you top that? The finale was brutal, layered, and emotionally devastating.
There's no coming back from this. No God that can save him.
I need you to know. I didn't kill Maria. Or Dukes. I may be the bearer of perpetua, but I promise you I didn't kill them.
And now I'm dying. Because of you. Just like they did.
I'm sorry. Dexter, fuck you.
It felt like the franchise had finally found its rhythm again. But Season 2 faces a massive challenge. How do you go bigger, darker, smarter than before? The answer might lie in casting, because if you're going to outdo Peter Dinklage's performance as Leon Prater, that cold, calculating villain who nearly broke Dexter, you need someone who can do more than act evil. You need someone who can make evil make sense. Enter Bryan Cranston. This is the man who built Breaking Bad into the greatest moral tragedy ever told on television. His portrayal of Walter White wasn't just acting, it was transformation.
You know, I haven't slept since Thursday. I was out all night cleaning up after you. I need my sleep.
You said no half measures.
Yeah. Funny how words can be so open to interpretation.
He took a simple chemistry teacher and turned him into something unrecognizable, one calculated lie at a time. And that's exactly the kind of depth that Dexter, Resurrection, could weaponize. Because Cranston isn't just good at playing villains, he's good at making us agree with them. In Breaking Bad, we watched him commit unforgivable acts, yet somehow, we understood every decision. That's his power. And that's what would make him the most dangerous villain Dexter's ever faced. Imagine a character who doesn't just kill for pleasure, but kills for philosophy. A man who believes the world is better off without certain people. Someone who could look Dexter in the eye and say, "You're not a monster, Dexter. You're an amateur. That's not a threat. That's a challenge." And it's the kind of line that flips the entire series dynamic in one heartbeat. Because for once, Dexter wouldn't just be fighting another killer. He'd be fighting an idea. Every great Dexter villain has mirrored a piece of his soul. The Trinity Killer represented family gone wrong. The Doomsday Killer reflected blind faith and delusion. And Leon Prater symbolized control, the illusion that Dexter could still play God. But a Bryan Cranston character? He'd embody something new. Something Dexter has never truly faced before. Intellectual morality. A villain who believes he's the one cleaning the world, who sees Dexter not as an enemy, but as a failed prototype. A man who does the same thing Dexter does, only better. That's where Cranston's brilliance shines, because he can make moral corruption look reasonable. He can deliver dialogue that feels like truth, even when it's drenched in madness. That's the exact psychological tension that could push Resurrection from good television to greatness. But this rumor isn't just about casting power. It's about what it represents for Dexter's evolution. For years, fans have fantasized about a crossover between Dexter and Breaking Bad. Both shows explored morality, secrecy, and the cost of power. They gave us two men, each brilliant, each broken, who convinced themselves that killing could be justified. And for the first time, those worlds might finally collide. No, Cranston wouldn't literally play Walter White, but the presence of that energy, the calm, terrifying authority, could redefine the tone of Resurrection forever. Cranston doesn't need to physically overpower Dexter. He's 70. He doesn't have to throw a punch. His power would come from intellect, from being 3 steps ahead before Dexter even acts. Picture this. Dexter arrives at a crime scene, and something's off. The body layout, the details, it all feels familiar, too familiar. Then it hits him. Someone is replicating his kills perfectly. Every ritual, every cut, every pattern, like a mirror reflecting his sins back at him. That's when he realizes he's being studied, not hunted, analyzed. And the person pulling the strings isn't a random psychopath. It's someone who already knows who he is and is forcing him to play by their code. That's the kind of cerebral warfare Cranston was born to play. The most terrifying part? This villain might actually deserve to win. Because for once, Dexter would be the one outsmarted. Every decision he makes, predicted. Every move, manipulated. Every moral choice, turned against him. A killer who doesn't stalk victims, but stalks Dexter's conscience. That's not just thrilling television, that's evolution. It's a duel of minds where blood isn't the prize. Truth is. And if the rumor is real, think about the performance potential. Michael C. Hall and Bryan Cranston, 2 actors known for intensity, subtlety, and menace in the same frame. It's the kind of pairing that feels impossible until you realize it's exactly what television's been missing. Their chemistry alone could carry entire episodes of silent tension. Conversations that feel like chess matches. Moments where the audience isn't breathing because both men are trying to read each other's next thought. That's not just another season of Dexter. That's a masterclass in psychological storytelling. Of course, it's still a rumor, but every great comeback starts as a whisper. And if this one turns out to be true, Dexter, Resurrection might not just redeem the franchise, it might redefine it. Because a villain like Bryan Cranston doesn't just kill, he corrupts, he dismantles, he makes you question who the real monster is. And that's exactly what Dexter Morgan has always been running from. So what do you think? If Bryan Cranston truly joins Dexter, Resurrection, what role would you want to see him play? A mastermind psychologist? A government profiler? Or something even darker, like a killer who knows Dexter's every secret? If you're still watching, drop "He knows Dexter" in the comments. And let me know. Could Bryan Cranston really become Dexter's most twisted villain yet?
Hello, Dexter Morgan.
Hello? Is anyone there?
Surprise, mother.
Enough!
Season 1 of Dexter Resurrection ended with blood, betrayal, and more questions than answers. Fans have gone wild creating theories about what comes next, from shocking returns to dark family twists. But some of these ideas are so insane, they might actually be true. Today, we're breaking down every crazy theory about Dexter Resurrection Season 2. So which of these theories could actually happen? Let's start with the one fans can't stop talking about, the return of Al.
This is a much easier way to vet my victims. Time to hear the tale of Rapunzel.
All right, I hope you like my little movie, Mr. Prater.
Al's disappearance was one of the biggest loose ends in Season 1. Dexter thought he'd cleaned up every last member of the murder club, but Al slipped away. Now, with Dexter holding his real identity, Al Walker, it's personal. This theory suggests Dexter will hunt Al down, but fans think it won't be that simple. Al is the kind of predator who adapts. If he's still alive, he might be stalking Dexter instead. Imagine a season where Dexter becomes the hunted, his own code turned against him. That alone would flip the entire formula of the show. The next theory dives into Harrison's fate, born in blood, abandoned, and surrounded by death.
What the hell are you doing?
Are you Dexter Morgan? It's me, Harrison.
Harrison.
You can't. Everyone close to you dies. That's why we're here.
Harrison's trauma mirrors Dexter's in terrifying ways. He's tried to resist his dark urges, but his violent past keeps catching up. Remember when he broke a kid's arm in wrestling? Or helped Dexter kill Prater? Some fans believe Season 2 will show Harrison embracing his darkness fully, becoming the new serial killer the series revolves around. Others say he'll form a father-son killing duo with Dexter, a twisted version of Batman and Robin. Either way, Harrison's inner struggle is bound to explode, and fans think it'll be the emotional core of the season. Few deaths hit fans harder than Deb's, but her presence never really left Dexter. She's the voice in his head, the last piece of his conscience.
It's on the floor. Are you ready for tonight?
And with Harrison walking the same path, the theory goes that Deb might reappear in Dexter's mind again, this time to protect Harrison from his father's influence. Imagine Deb's ghost arguing with Dexter while he tries to train Harrison. It would be chaos, morality, and guilt all colliding. If there's one voice that can break Dexter, it's Deb's. Now for a theory that fans either love or hate, Hannah McKay faked her death.
Can I help you?
Miss McKay?
That's right.
According to the show, she died of cancer off-screen, but fans aren't buying it. Hannah was a master of poison and deception, capable of escaping anything. She once drugged herself just to break out of prison. What if she pulled off one last trick, leaving Harrison to believe she was gone? If she returns, it could shatter Harrison's world and reignite Dexter's most dangerous love story. The writers brought Dexter back from the dead once, so why not Hannah? Here's where things get even darker. Angel Batista's shocking death at the end of Season 1 wasn't just tragic, it set the stage for vengeance. Quinn, his former partner, has lost everything because of Dexter, Deb, Batista, and his piece.
It's enough. He obviously is in shock.
His wife just died. He's submitting a lab report. Seriously, the next door neighbor, the guy with the forehead, he was more broken up about Rita than Dexter was.
Fans believe Quinn will return in Season 2 to uncover the truth behind Batista's murder, reigniting the Bay Harbor Butcher investigation. Unlike past detectives, Quinn knows exactly who Dexter is, and this time, he's not holding back. A Quinn versus Dexter face-off could be the most intense chase the show's ever done. But not everyone wants to see more returning faces. Some fans think the constant callbacks to Miami are holding Resurrection back. They argue that Dexter's story has evolved. He's in New York now, surrounded by new killers, new allies, and a more complex moral world. Maybe Season 2 will finally let him bury the past for good. This theory suggests the show will focus entirely on new villains and a new psychological war, letting Dexter become something we've never seen before. A man trying to survive without his dark passenger guiding him. If even one of these theories comes true, Season 2 could redefine Dexter again. But imagine if several collide. Al hunting Dexter, while Harrison falls deeper into darkness. All while Deb's ghost tries to stop him and Hannah resurfaces to reclaim her son. Every part of Dexter's past would come crashing down at once, forcing him to face what he's always feared most, the monster he created in his own image. At its core, Dexter Resurrection is about legacy. Fans don't just want kills, they want closure. Whether that means Dexter training Harrison or finally meeting his match, Season 2 could be the ultimate test of his morality. Theories are fun, but they all lead back to one haunting question. Can Dexter ever be redeemed? And that wraps up every crazy theory about Dexter Resurrection Season 2. Which one do you think will actually come true? Drop your wildest predictions in the comments. And if you're still watching, type Dark Passenger Returns, so I know you're one of the real fans. Dexter's world is full of killers, but not all of them deserve the same fear. From pathetic pretenders to monsters who tore Dexter's life apart, today we're ranking every Dexter villain by pure danger, level 1 through 7. Some were laughable, others nearly destroyed him, and level 7, they left scars that never healed. But what really makes one killer more dangerous than another in Dexter's universe? Is it their methods, their brutality, or how deeply they cut into Dexter's own psyche? Let's find out. Level 1 villains are all talk and no terror. Big in name, small in threat. These are people like Matt Caldwell, Levi Reed, and Stan Liddy, characters who thought they could challenge Dexter Morgan but didn't stand a chance. Levi Reed was a drunk and a drug addict, a brute who thought size made him dangerous. But Dexter handled him with one dose of M99 in a dark alley, child's play. Matt Caldwell wasn't much better. Arrogant, remorseless, and reckless. He became Dexter's first victim in Iron Lake, and it didn't even feel like a challenge. A rusty Dexter, out of practice for nearly a decade, still took him down without breaking a sweat. And then there's Stan Liddy, the disgraced cop turned wannabe investigator. He got close to uncovering Dexter's secret, but lacked the nerve to finish the job. Even with Dexter tied up in his van, Liddy fumbled it. That's level 1 for you. No real strategy, no survival instinct, just fools who crossed paths with a predator they couldn't comprehend. Level 2 villains were a step up, but only barely. They could trip Dexter up for a moment, but never keep him down. These are the distractions, seductive, obsessed, or just dumb enough to make things interesting. Lila West tops this group. Manipulative, chaotic, and dangerously obsessive, she nearly blew up Dexter's double life just because she couldn't let go. She destroyed his home, murdered Dokes, and even tried to kill his family in a fire. But Dexter tracked her to Paris and ended her story with one knife to the chest. Then there's the Skinner, whose only talent was peeling skin off his victims. Gruesome, yes, but not smart. Even after catching Dexter, he couldn't finish the job. Ray Speltzer, the muscle-bound maze killer, wasn't much better. Big, loud, and stupid, killed 3 women, thought he was invincible, and got buried by Dexter with a shovel. Level 2 killers were messy and violent, but their egos made them predictable. And predictability is death when you're up against Dexter Morgan. Level 3 villains had potential, but they were blinded by emotion. These are the obsessive types, driven by love, family, or vengeance. Miguel Prado fits perfectly here. Once Dexter's ally, then his biggest mistake. Miguel learned too much, got too confident, and started killing outside the code. Dexter had to clean up the mess, permanently. Christine Hill, Trinity's estranged daughter, also earns her spot. Desperate for her father's approval, she shot Frank Lundy and nearly killed Deborah Morgan. But her instability caught up with her, and she took her own life before Dexter could. Captain Aaron Spencer, a cop turned child abductor, also lands here. Motivated by rage over his cheating wife, he kidnapped and killed innocent kids to get revenge. He had power, but no control. Level 3 villains always have the drive to kill, but lack the discipline to survive. They could wound Dexter emotionally, but never outplay him. Level 4 is where things get dark. The sadists. These killers don't kill for passion or power. They kill for pleasure. Think Jordan Chase and his Barrel Girls gang. They kidnapped, tortured, and murdered women under his twisted take it philosophy. Chase brainwashed his followers into thinking they had the right to kill, a cult of killers that nearly destroyed Lumen and almost exposed Dexter himself. Then there's the tattoo collector, a lunatic who flayed his victims alive and kept their skin as art. Or Mia LaPierre, who blinded her victims before killing them, purely for the thrill. These were Dexter's worst nightmares made real. Not because they were smart, but because they were unstoppable until someone stopped them. Dexter did. He dismantled them one by one. Level 4 villains are the embodiment of chaos. Disturbing, unpredictable, but ultimately manageable for someone as methodical as Dexter. Now we enter the masterminds, Level 5. These are the killers who could truly challenge Dexter's mind. Travis Marshall, the Doomsday Killer, led this group with religious zealotry. Believing he was chosen by God to bring about the apocalypse, he staged elaborate murders tied to the Book of Revelation. He poisoned, decapitated, and even tried to sacrifice Dexter's son, Harrison. He came closer than almost anyone to defeating Dexter. The Gemini twins were another threat. Two brothers who tricked everyone, even the FBI, by posing as one person. They killed in pairs, arranged victims in the shape of zodiac symbols, and nearly tracked Dexter back to his home. Al Jolly Walker was another standout, charming, sadistic, and cunning enough to flee before Dexter could strike. These killers were intelligent, meticulous, and terrifyingly patient. But Dexter's cold logic always found the cracks in their plans. Level 5 killers could shake him, but not break him. Level 6 villains? That's where the line between manipulation and mastery blurs. These are the people who didn't just fight Dexter, they got inside his head. Hannah McKay is one of the few who survived his table. She was seductive, patient, and lethal. She poisoned for convenience, killed lovers, and somehow made Dexter fall in love with her. She even drugged him and Deb, and still lived. That's power. Then there's Kurt Caldwell, the small-town king of Iron Lake. His influence let him kill for decades without suspicion. When he found out Dexter killed his son, he burned Dexter's house, kidnapped Harrison, and turned over evidence that nearly put Dexter in prison. And finally, Isaac Serco, a mob boss assassin fueled by grief and vengeance. He stalked Dexter openly, almost killed him at a donut shop, and proved that even a monster can love deeply. Level 6 villains had real control over their image, their influence, and their enemies. They made Dexter sweat. But the final level? They made him bleed. Level 7, the Apex Predators. These killers weren't just dangerous, they redefined Dexter's life. Brian Moser, the ice truck killer, was his own brother. The moment Brian returned, Dexter's world cracked. He forced Dexter to relive his mother's murder, nearly killed Deborah, and exposed the fragility of the code that guided Dexter's entire life. Trinity killer Arthur Mitchell took it further, a church-going family man by day, a monster by night. 3 decades of killing, over 250 victims, and a mask so perfect, even Dexter admired it. But Trinity shattered everything when he murdered Rita, leaving baby Harrison in a pool of her blood. That was the moment Dexter's darkness became grief. And then came Oliver Saxon, Daniel Vogel, the brain surgeon, cold, brilliant, merciless. He killed his own mother, cut open victims while they were awake, and put Deborah in the hospital with a bullet that left her brain dead. He finished what Trinity started, destroying Dexter's humanity, piece by piece. These level 7 killers didn't just test Dexter's skills, they tested his soul. Each one forced him to face the truth, that maybe the most dangerous killer in Miami wasn't any of them. It was Dexter Morgan himself. And that's every Dexter villain ranked by danger, from forgettable pests to the monsters that broke him. But who do you think was Dexter's greatest threat? Drop your pick in the comments. Hit like if you enjoyed the breakdown, and make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into Dexter's dark world.